All right, so we are moving on to the second part. I guess really it is only the second part of our quadratics unit, which has really taken place all the way since back in January. We've been talking about factoring for so long, and now we're going to be talking about the quadratic formula. Okay, but before we actually get to what the quadratic formula is, we kind of break down a few things that we haven't really talked about. One is this symbol that you see a whole bunch on here, and I'm just going to draw it down here. And it just looks like this. Well, what does that stand for? Well, this is what's called a radical. And radicals function all kinds of different ways, but essentially, the other name for it is a square root. And what it really does is it's very simply, it is the opposite of squaring something. So it's the opposite of squaring. So to make it even more clear, if we're talking about opposite operations, if you have plus, your opposite is minus. If you have times, your opposite is divide. And if you have something squared, the opposite is the square root. Okay, so those two things are opposites. Well, how does that apply to some math? Well, let's take a look. So if 2 squared equals 4, right, 2 times 2 is 4, so 2 squared is 4, then the square root of 4 is 2. So when you see this, what is the square root of 4? You're saying what number times itself. So what number squared would equal 4? Well, 2 squared would equal 4, so the square root of 4 is 2. It's the opposite. If 3 squared equals 9, then the square root of 9 is 3. It's that simple. So it's like what number times itself, or what number squared would give me that number? Well, the square root of 9 is 3. Not every number has a perfect square, right? Only certain numbers do. 49, it's a weird number, but we do know 7 times 7 is 49. So the square root of 49 is 7. Okay, and just to show you that one more time, this works because 2 squared equals 4. Okay, so kind of going back to this. The square root of 9 is 3 because 3 squared equals 9. The square root of 49 is 7 because 7 squared equals 49. See if you can solve these ones. So none of them were terribly hard, those last two. Don't get tripped up by those. Yeah, see if you can figure those out.